Ah, good morning. You must be the new recruit. Please come in. What we have to discuss should be done in privacy and peace. Follow me. Welcome to the tent of Duvranger Gada. It is a privileged few who are ever permitted to enter here. Before we properly begin, I suppose we should ensure that we're all on the same page. As I'm sure you've heard, the Varden has lost many of its spellcasters during the Battle of the Burning Plains. As we've gone without a conflict for several days now, Nazwada has given us permission to start recruiting new prospects into our fold. By means which I shall not reveal just yet, we've determined that you have the aptitude to become a spellcaster, and by extension, a member of Duvranger Gada. However, simply possessing the ability to work magic is no guarantee that you shall be successful as a spellcaster. Far from it. It requires immense discipline, a keen memory, and above all, a resourceful mind. And if you possess these traits, you may yet succeed. We are here to help you with all the rest, by instructing you in the ways of magic. Sadly, because of our admittedly limited time, you must understand that a proper apprenticeship is simply impossible. However, since you have proven yourself to be competent, mature, and dependable as a soldier when you serve directly under the Varden, we shall not withhold our secrets from you. This allows me to teach you some of the deepest secrets of magic that we know, right from the start. So, today, I shall give you a lesson on the fundamental workings of magic. What you are about to learn is not to be repeated to anyone outside this tent. As you shall learn shortly, knowledge is the most powerful weapon in all of magic. No matter how innocuous or obvious you may think something is, in the wrong hands, it can get people killed. Am I understood? Good. I'm glad you take this seriously. It will make all this easier for both of us. Now where do we begin with such short time? Firstly, it must be understood that magic, despite some of its outward appearances, is bound by iron-clad rules. As assuredly as the sun will rise and a stone will fall, the laws of magic will be enforced. For magic is, at its core, energy manipulation. Whenever a magician, for instance, lights a fire with a spell, he is calling forth the energy to ignite the wood and redirecting it in a manner which produces heat. Now, one of the basic laws of the universe is that both matter and energy cannot be created or destroyed, but merely changed from one form into another. Suppose I eat my dinner, and the next morning I perform my daily exercises. My body is converting the chemical energy in the food into mechanical energy in the form of motion, and magic conforms to this rule. The matter and energy for a spell has to come from somewhere. When casting a spell, the energy will come from your own body. You may see the danger already. If you must supply the energy, what would happen if you attempted a spell which consumed more than you have? The answer, morbid as it may be, is that you will die. Lifting and throwing a pebble, for instance, would only take a tiny amount of energy, as if you had thrown it with your own arm. But lifting and throwing a boulder, even only a few feet, would leave you bedridden for days. Should you try it with a mountain, you'd be dead before it shifted an inch. I tell you all of this now to discourage experimentation without our oversight. It's for your sake as well as ours. Long have we attempted to understand exactly what our limits are, but such precision is best left to others with more time on their hands. I have heard that one of King Orin's spellcasters is attempting to establish a formula of exactly how energy relates to motion. Oh, what was his name? Isaac knew something or other. It might be useful eventually, but we've got a war going and have more pressing needs than the musings of a natural philosopher. That is part of why it is so important for spellcasters to maintain their physical fitness. A healthy body contains more energy and can process it faster. So don't think that being removed from the normal troops is going to get you off your exercise. And now we come to the true secret of magic. There is a language. No, there is the language. We know it simply as the ancient language, and it is the language of reality itself. How to explain this? When we say fire in this language, we're simply giving the word that our society has decided to use to designate that phenomenon over there in our hearth. But if you were to say that word in the ancient language, it is not simply a word for that phenomenon, it is the word, the true name of fire. The ancient language, therefore, is a carefully guarded secret, and magicians treat their arsenal of words and grammar as their most precious secret. All magical spells are formed and expressed with the ancient language as their structure. By structure, I mean that the sentences we form with the ancient language are merely a framework within which we may work our intentions through our thoughts. This is simultaneously mortally dangerous and incredibly useful. If I wanted to get our campfire going to cook tonight, I could simply use one word in the ancient language, Persinger. And within that one word are an infinite number of possibilities. Where is the fire? How hot is it? Is it a big fire? If I'm not careful, I could just as easily light myself on fire, or make a blaze so large it would kill me from the energy extracted. This is why a disciplined mind is so important. As long as I have an exact image in my mind of what I want, the word Persinger will be enough. But if my concentration were to waver even slightly, if I were to look at you when saying the word and picture you in my mind, I might accidentally light you ablaze. This is why you will sometimes see our mages with their eyes closed or locked on one single point in space. However, the opposite is also true. If I were somehow fluent enough in the ancient language to say, light a fire in this hearth of just sufficient size to cook our meal, and let it be extinguished when the meal is done, well, there is no ambiguity and no danger in the spell. Nothing could go wrong at all. But of course, that requires fluency in a language in which even a few words are carefully guarded. Only the elves who speak the language fluently could achieve such a task. And although our resident elven mage Arya has allied herself with the Varden, she is still a subject of them, and is bound not to reveal her full knowledge to us inferior human spellcasters. So we have this interesting dichotomy. On the one hand, a creative person could perform wonders with a few words, but at great risk of the spell going awry. I have, for instance, heard rumors of masters creating diamonds from water, simply with the ancient language's word for water. On the other hand, predefined spells can be created and memorized to produce very specific and consistent results. For example, I am not a doctor or a surgeon. I don't know how the human body works on its deepest levels. I could not simply place my hand on a wound and command it to heal, because I cannot guide that process with my mind. However, if I memorized an elaborate sentence given to me by an elf to close one cut left by a sword, or another sentence to remove infection from an arrow wound, and yet another sentence to mend a broken finger, I don't necessarily need to know how it works. As long as my grammar and pronunciation are flawless, I can accomplish certain specific tasks without danger of harming anyone. This is why, in battle, the first method is often used. A fight can come in any form, and so you need to be quick, creative, and fluid in your spellweaving. But outside of a fight, where we have time to sit and think and consult with others about a spell, it's far wiser to use the second method. You may consult our library for documentation of a spell to do exactly what you want, or consult with other members of Duvranagata to carefully compose a proper spell on your own. This is how our study of magic comes together, by cooperation and sharing knowledge, regardless of how the elves like to treat us. And now we come back to you, my young pupil. We will instruct you in this art. Under us, you will learn the deeper mysteries of the world. You will acquire a power both dangerous and wonderful, and can serve the Varden in their campaign against the Empire. And so tomorrow, we will begin. Please move all your belongings into the vacant tent near here. Bring your sword and a small, smooth pebble. Our lesson will begin there. Until tomorrow, I bid you a fine evening. I look forward to continuing down this wandering path together.